2021. It's finally here, and let's hope that it's a better year than last year. It certainly can't get much worse. With all the developments that are happening in the world, we might be seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. And which is a very weird but very convenient way for me to relay to what I'm talking about today, which is cave diving. Now, do you get it? Light, caves, tunnel? Specifically today we are talking about the top 10 Florida cave dives, though it should be noted there are way too many caves and cave systems and springs and dives in Florida to even begin contemplating putting into a top 10. So I guess what I'm going to do with this list is make it the mainstream ones now, or at least the accessible ones. Now, the reason I specifically note accessible is because there are, as I said, a ton of amazing caves that you can dive, but that probably won't be available to dive in the scope of a dive holiday, for instance. This is for reasons like landowner restrictions. So dive sites like Vakula and Indian, they're not going to be on this list, sadly. Though we do have some great videos of them up on the channel, link above. So with all that said, I'm Nico Lurot from Global Underwater Explorers, but why are we talking about caves today? Well, it's something that GUE is, I'd like to think, kind of synonymous with. So I thought it would be a great way to get everyone back onto the channel in the new year, get you all buzzing, get you all chatting down in the comments section. So actually I'd really like to hear from you all. Down in the comments, have you cave dived in Florida? What has been your favourite cave dive? Are you actually cave trained, and if not, is it something you are considering doing? And once you've left all your comments, if you happen to like cave diving, do think about giving the video a thumbs up, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button, tickle that notification bell, and now let's count down the top 10 accessible Florida cave dives in no particular order. Peacock Springs. There's a natural upstream and downstream in this cave system, as well as the opportunity for some amazing iconic shots, noticeably at the entrance of Orange Grove Sink, where you've got the fallen trees. Pretty much Google Peacock Springs on the internet and you will see that these are the images that I'm talking about. The walls in this cave are a light tan colour and there's little to no flow, so you're not going to be having to kicking against water. All things considered, it's a nice, easy cave dive. You have two different entrances, the Peanut Line and the Olsen Line. You can also enter the cave system via Orange Grove Sink. Now, some divers actually opt to swim from P1 all the way to Orange Grove Sink. This is called the Grand Traverse. You'll encounter two sinks along the way if you choose this traverse. You've got Olsen Sink and you've got Challenge. However, divers tend to not really use these as entrances or exits unless it's an emergency. Also, side note, no DPVs allowed here. Ginnie Springs. One of the things cave divers love about this dive site is the fact that it's pretty much got consistent conditions. This system very rarely gets closed down, except maybe in hurricane season, which is August, September and October. Another fun fact, unlike on other dive sites, you can actually dive Ginnie Springs up until midnight. There are other cave systems in Florida where they have a rule whereby you need to be out 1 hour before the sun goes down. Not so here, you can dive it up to midnight. That's pretty awesome. Another cool thing about this dive site, this is one of the systems where you can use scooters, so it's scooterable? Is that a word? Scooterable. So yeah, this site is scooterable, if of course you have the required GUE scooter cave certification, the link for which if you're interested is right above. Average depth in this system is about 90 feet and it is a high flow system, so when you enter you will feel like water is pushing against you. Ginnie Springs is home to the Devil system and to the Ginnie Ballroom. We actually have a really cool video up on the channel right now of diving in the Devil system. The link for that is above me now. Ginnie Springs is an open water dive site with a nice big basin to swim around in with gin clear water. Get it? Gin, Ginnie, gin clear, Ginnie Springs. The Ginnie Ballroom is a small cavern, but of course we don't recommend going into an overhead environment unless you have the required training. The Devil Cave System. This cave system has got two entrances, the ear and the eye. The ear being the larger passage, the eye being a little bit narrower. But I mean, the system is huge and you could literally spend a whole year diving this system and have a different dive every single time. Vast. Madison Blue. Once again, a high flow cave system. Walls are light in colour, so it's pretty clear most of the time, you get good light bouncing off the walls, and it's really pretty, this one. You've got two entrances for this system, Madison and another one called Mart Sink, which is a tighter system, should we say, as you can see from the image here. But the nice thing about Mart Sink is that it's kind of a shortcut. So if you were to enter at Madison, you'd still have quite a long way to swim before getting to Mart's. So if you wanted to explore further on in the cave, you would enter at Mart, single file, as you can see as you saw from the previous image, and then you would go from there. So you've cut out a chunk at the beginning part of the cave if you do enter at Mart's. There's a really neat and popular cave system you can do if you take the entrance at Madison, and it's called the Godzilla Room Circuit. You'll have to take a jump off the main line and go through some rather low areas in order to get to the Godzilla Room. You'll know when you've arrived, as you are going to literally drop through a hole to get into the Godzilla Room, and you'll know when you've got there because there might even be a real Godzilla in the room. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. Manatee Springs. There are once again two main entrances to Manatee Springs. Most of the people go to the entrance which is called the Catfish Hotel, likely named so because guess what? There's a load of catfish living in there. But there is a limit to the amount of people which can enter Catfish Hotel, the entrance, at any given time. So if, for instance, the entrance at Catfish Hotel is too busy, people will go to the second entrance called Freedom and Sink, which is a narrower entrance. And the one thing you really need to know about Manatee is that this is arguably the highest flow cave system of any cave system I'm going to talk about on this list. The water in this one shifts. It's often dived on scooters. Small distinction because you do actually get people swimming here, but it is less common to see. Most of the time people go for the scooters. One thing that's really important to note is that as you're exiting, you do want to make sure that you've got your scooter set on low, as the flow of the water is going to be pushing you out. Beautiful thing is, Manatee is home to over 20,000 mapped feet for you to explore. Big old system. Little River. Once again, a high flow cave system, and one that you can scooter. It's home to a medium-sized cavern, and from there you drop to about 55 feet. At that depth, it then turns into the cave with a chimney that corkscrews down to about 98 to 100 feet. So for some, you could definitely consider this to be a deeper dive. There's lots of little offshoots in this cave system, which is of course a lot of fun, and about 600 feet in, there is a T with the passages separating into two separate directions. These passages, after each going about 200 feet in, the two lines meet again in an area called the Florida Room, where you can continue on into the cave from there. Jackson Blue. Located in Mariana County in Florida, there are 5 or 6 big cave systems in the area, Jackson being one of the biggest. Once again, it is an extremely high flow system, and there's over 8,000 feet in counting for you to currently explore in this system. It's very complex in terms of the different directions it goes in. The walls are white, the water is blue, so it's really photogenic, and once again, great news, this is a site which you can scooter on, certification allowing. Emerald Sink. This is technically part of the Vacula Springs cave system, which I did say at the top of the video is one of the systems that you can't dive. It's located in Tallahassee. It takes up a big old area, but this is, okay, yes, it is part of Vacula Springs, but technically speaking, this is one that is open to the public. It's a fairly advanced dive with a number of different passages, some of them going as deep as 260 feet. Now, given that there is access to deeper sections of this cave, a lot of the time divers will tend to dive on rebreathers or trimix. If you're interested in the GUE rebreather course or the GUE trimix course, link above. Hole in the wall. This is another one in Mariana County, and it's pretty cool to get there. You either go by kayak or by small boat. Then when you get close to the entrance, you literally jump into the water to about waist height, and you move over to it's underwater, but you move over to a granite bank, and there you see where it gets its name from, because it's a literal semicircle half hole in this granite bank, and that's what you go through. It's a really, really cool cave system, this one, with iron ore deposits all along the white walls, so I mean, stunning, beautifully photogenic. You can actually get to the end of the line in one single dive on a scooter, but to be honest, it's really worth not just bombing in Take your time at the beginning of the cave entrance here, because when you turn around and look at the entrance, it's mega photogenic. Really worth taking your time on this one. Hart Springs. Another amazing cave dive in Gilchrist County, just like Ginnie Springs. This cave, I've mentioned this a few times, but this is a really, really high flow cave, this one. And honestly, it's recommended that you have not just a level of experience, but a really high level of comfort diving caves before even considering to dive here. There's both an upstream and downstream in this cave system. Some passages are very narrow. I guess you could call it a very technical cave, no pun intended, as far as fin kicking and as far as turning goes, because you are going to be really, really needing not only great buoyancy control and finning technique, but great awareness of what everything that's around you. My favourite feature about this cave, though, if you are certified and experienced enough to go in though, is that the cave is full of fossils of things like sharks and seals embedded in the walls. Now, that for me is awesome. Epitome of exploration. Finding fossils. Eagle's Nest. This is one of the very few deep caves in the area that is not a permit site. By that I mean you just go through the normal sign up process to dive here, unlike other deep cave sites in the area which require a load of admin to get your permit in order to dive there. You drive through beautiful Florida Park into the middle of nowhere, literally middle of nowhere, to an isolated lake. It does really make you think. The person who found this, like at the time, before there were nice roads and everything, he must have just marched into the middle of this Florida park. You know, there are snakes, there are alligators, and I just would have loved to have been a fly on the tree, fly on the wall, fly on the tree, I guess, just to have watched this guy at work. So you're telling me in an area which is completely unbuilt, you're just going to jump into this random lake. My friend, 2 thumbs up to you. Respect. Anyway, you drop into the lake, into the solution tube, you go at about 50 feet, this drops to about 70 feet, and this takes you into a huge ballroom. You can go upstream and downstream in this cave system, each about 270 feet. One thing to note though in this cave, because of this layout of this cave, it's not only recommended that you are a seasoned cave diver, but have substantial experience in deco planning and deco procedures, rebreathers, and scooters. So this is definitely a cave for the advanced divers among you. Okay guys, that's it from me. We have done another top 10. It's the first one of the year. As always, I would love to hear from you all. Comment down below the same questions I asked at the top of the show. What is your favourite Florida cave dive if you have dived in Florida? Now that you've seen the top 10, if you have not done the cave dives in Florida, is it somewhere that you would like to now consider going? Do let us know if there's any training or experience that you guys are considering doing in the coming weeks, months, years. Please be sure, as always, if you have liked this video, show me some love. Give the video a thumbs up. Please also do hit that subscribe button, tickle that notification bell so you know whenever a new video from Global Underwater Explorers is coming out. Next Monday, be on the lookout for our new Versus Monday, our first of the year. Dorota's back with a vengeance, and she's got a great piece of one piece of equipment versus another piece of equipment, so be on the lookout for that next Monday, 4 PM GMT. Other than that, I'm Nico Lurot from Global Underwater Explorers. Thank you as always for watching the video. Stay cool, stay safe, and I will see you next time.